photos of you when you've always been known to be this incredible guitar player, and it's so funny to watch these old videos of you just to see how you've always been an incredible guitar player.
Thank you for saying that.
Now that's been recognized because you recently joined. You were talking about all these great bands that you're in, but you recently joined a pretty big one here in London, the Heart Attack Kids.
I'm the new Heart Attack Kid on the block. I'm the new Heart Attack Kid. Yeah. Well, I've known Jared for a really long time. We crossed paths. When would it have been? It would have been when we were in high school, but we went to different high schools. Heart Attack Kids were... I remember actually when Jared was in 8-Bit Ghost. I don't know if you remember that band. That was like the first one.
No, I never saw that.
Oh, yeah. I believe it was Nate and Jared were both in that band, and they were infants at the time. and I had started what would become Radio Caroline, but we were called Dead Rock at the time. And we were just like a couple of baby bands. Yeah, and then Heart Attack Kids became a thing, and I remember meeting Jared for the first time at the APK. And I think it was a Mother's Day show at APK, and it was Heart Attack Kids. I think Kingpin played, and Fossil. I believe I might be making parts of that up, but it was definitely Mother's Day at APK, and I saw Heart Attack Kids for the first time. And then there were a couple times where Jared messaged me and said like, "Hey, Radio Caroline and Heart Attack Kids should play a show together." And it's like, well, the band broke up, or or like whatever. There's this thing after high school bands, right? And yeah, we never wound up playing a show together, but then we wound up, we'd run into each other at venues and at shows or whatever. And then what really happened to instigate this whole thing was Heart Attack Kids were putting out Bad Luck Like Gold last year in April. And Jared messaged me about doing a show here at the Dome. And I had started my project with Liam called DIY Orchestra. And he said,
"All great bands, great records, by the way."
Thank you. And he said, "Yeah, I really want to do the Heart Attack Kids record release show, like the secret release show at the Dome." And I went, "For sure. Like, who all do you want on the bill?" And he said, "Well, it's going to be us and Wine Lips." And I was just like, "I've got this band DIY Orchestra that could open." And he was like, "Okay, for sure." And like we were Liam's off in New Zealand right now, just traveling abroad, which is a strange time to be traveling, I must add. But so I just said, let's have my band do the opening slot. And Jared saw us as a two-piece open the Heart Attack Kids show, and he said like, "Yeah, I'd love to come tech for any recordings that you guys do in the future." And I said, "Sure." And then Jared came over, and we were working on, he's a total gear nerd like me. And he was twisting knobs and all the amps and helping me record the DIY single. And then it was about a month after he helped me tech it and stuff. And I think we grabbed beers together once in between that too. But then he messaged me and he said, "Hey, would you want to jam sometime?" And I said, "Sure." Which, you never really think much of it. It's kind of the running joke on our podcast is like, we should jam sometime. It's just like, yeah, sure, man, whatever. So he came over and we jammed, and then I didn't think anything of it. And then he messaged me again. He said, "Hey, we should jam again." And I was like, "Yeah, for sure, man. Sounds good." And he went, "No, but like, you should play bass for Heart Attack Kids." And I went, "Oh, yeah, for sure." And then he came over and we actually made it official, and I was in the band all of a sudden, which was great.